Hey TCK and non-TCKs. If you watched my first video, then you saw a brief overview definition of what TCK means, and you heard a little bit about who I am. If you haven't seen that video, I'll post the links down below, and I definitely recommend you watching it just so you know what this channel is really about. Anyways, let's get started. So, in 2009, my family moved from Solomon Islands to America, and I really was not looking forward to that. Why? Here is possibly the number one thing you should never say to a TCK. Welcome home. How do I even begin to describe how incredibly damaging that phrase can be? As a TCK, we are global nomads, so to start, where is home even? How many countries have we lived in? How many houses, beds, tribes, families have we been adopted into? Coming back to our passport country, or the country of our parents, isn't always home for us. In fact, oftentimes, it is the country furthest from our concept of home that we could possibly be. So if you are a family member or a friend of a TCK, and we are coming back stateside or to whatever country that we're coming to for deputation or furlough or whatever you want to call it, just try to be understanding and sensitive that the phrase welcome home can actually be really hurtful to us. So if welcome home isn't a welcome phrase, how does one handle the situation? I remember when we got off the plane in Texas, my auntie had come to pick us up from the airport. I had grown up with her in Solomon Islands, so while she wasn't a direct relative, she's definitely someone that I consider family. And as a side note, that is also very common for TCKs to call people outside of direct blood relations auntie, uncle. It's part of the TCK culture. I remember walking through the doors of the airport. She was sitting at a table, and when she saw me, she said, "I know this isn't home, but welcome anyways." And for her to acknowledge that, to know, to respect that, was so important and touching. And there was this beautiful, heartbreaking sense of understanding. So if you are tasked with the duties of picking up a TCK, just know that while we are excited to see you again, to catch up, just know that stepping off that plane, leaving that airport, means leaving that last sense of connection we have to the country that we just left. And just know that welcome home can be one of the hardest things for us to hear as we are stepping into a country that is not our home. So definitely please help us as we go through our TCK grief to settle into the country that we've come to, whether it's for furlough, for deputation, for whatever reason it may be. I think the most important thing that you can do to help us would be to just extend yourself as a safe space for us to grieve, to transition, to assimilate, re-assimilate into the culture. I also remember very vividly my first Sunday in America. Sitting at church, tears just rolling uncontrollably down my face. The songs were different, the sermon was in English, and at some point in the service, the pastor made an announcement that, hey, this family is back in the US, please make them feel welcome after the service. And for me, that was the last straw, that one more reminder of, hey, you are not in Solomon Islands anymore. And my heart completely shattered. I remember my entire body just going numb. And there was nothing I felt that I could do but cry. The emotion was so incredibly raw. And I remember dreading the service to end because I knew that I'd have to put my face on and be the TCK that everyone was expecting me to be. Happy to be in a first world country where I had electricity, running water, really good internet, all the technology, all the things that you don't have in a third world culture. And I remember the weight of that just hurting me so much more. Because sometimes when we're hurting, when we're dealing with our TCK grief, our TCK trauma, we don't always necessarily know exactly what we're missing. We've lived in so many places, we've had so many families adopt us that sometimes we just ache. We ache in the unfamiliarity of a new place. And a lot of times it's so very hard for us to communicate to non-TCKs that TCK grief. So just, if there is one thing that you can do to help us out as we transition, reassimilate back into this culture, it would be that you not say, welcome home. Hey TCK, if you're out there, hang in there. It's a big little world. Let's make it smaller.